Gotta get my rolling fingers ready. You know what I'm saying? That dexterity life, that pre-show prep. You know how much weed we use for a blunt? Let's get high, G! Let's get high! I peaked your fucking audio right there. All right, I need to go look at my show notes. Yeah! Welcome, everybody. Back to, it feels good to do that. I need to do that one more time. Yes! Y'all know who it is. It's happening. It's the return of the OG podcast, the highest host, Adam Hill, chilling out. It feels good to do this right now. It's been a minute since I did the podcast. I went on hiatus in like 2014, something I started in 2009. Just here, I just wanted to get high and talk about the lifestyle. And I was fortunate enough to be working at dispensaries and knowing a bunch of people. So I got to network very well a long time ago. Yeah.
How are you, dude?
Yeah.
Good, man.
Good to see you. Thanks for coming.
Hell yeah, dude.
And I just interviewed a bunch of people and got high and just talked about everything that we always wanted to talk about. And, you know, just shit happens, and then you start meeting people, and then TV networks hit you up, and they want you to do shows for them, so you put your little baby on the side to work on other projects, and then, you know, you do other things, and then other shit happens, and you're like, yeah, my podcast, and I wish I could do it, but there's so much other shit happening. But you know what happened? You guys kept hitting me up and sliding up in the DMs and hitting the emails and saying, yo, Adam, we appreciate all your fucking videos. Appreciate all the shit you're doing, but we need you to bring back the podcast. And we're about to have an epic time, and I've been trying to work on this interview for a minute with my guest today. He's a former professional. Do you say former professional or a professional NFL player? All-American, a poet, a writer. He comes from a family of talented folks. You might have seen his grandma on one of your favorite shows. What? Oh, let me see what else we got here. You know, I'm talking about my boy EBEN right here. EBEN is in the bill. Oh, he also owns a bunch of companies. He's an advocate. He's nominated for a bunch of awards coming up for the Cannabis Awards. I saw that.
Yeah, dude.
What?
What?
Is this real life? Is this happening?
It is. Life's a movie, man.
Oh.
You know that.
Hey, it's good to have you back on. Have you on my first show, actually.
Hey, man, it's an honor to be on the first one.
Oh, well,
with
thank
Adam
you.
Hill,
Well,
bro.
I know you got podcasts. You do your Caveman Poet Society with your boy, another former professional athlete.
Yep.
Is that what you say, former NFL, or you just say NFL?
I'll say former NFLer, retired NFLer.
Professional
football player.
Because, you know, when they're a president, you just always say they're the president, even when they're not the president.
Right,
you say
Mr. President.
Yeah, like always. Do you say that about everybody?
Oh my God. Trump's going to get that for the rest of his life.
Jeez. I don't want to go there yet. It's the first show. Can we just like... Are you high already? You smoking?
I got this going, man. What's this? Tell me. I like this a lot. You always have good weed, man.
I like that. The first words of the guest. I appreciate that.
Always, bro.
What? Well, you know, this is a loaded. They're loaded joints. These are pre-rolls. I got some blunts here, LA Kush. I got flowers here if you need any. I got my Peak if you want to take some dabs. I got boxes of LA Kush flavors if you want to do that.
Nice.
I got weed ready to smoke if you want to smoke, because I know you're all about it. Because I have a bunch of notes here, EBEN, and I learned a lot about you.
Okay.
And you were never really shy about your cannabis consumption. You were always pretty open about it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like me. When was the first time you actually consumed cannabis? Do you remember the first ever time? Because were you always an athlete, like in school?
I was, man. It's ever since high school, 9th grade, freshman year. I started playing football.
Did you get like a growth spurt at 9th grade? Is that when?
I wanted to play football from the time I was probably 7.
What?
I remember being at my grandparents' house watching the news in the summer, seeing the Jets and the Giants in training camp and thinking, man, I want to do that one day.
So I'm guessing you were born in New York or New Jersey or
I was born in New York.
New York
City.
Giants, Jets, I see you.
Yeah. And then lived in Brooklyn till I was 10. My brother Gus is right here.
Hi, Gus.
We moved out to LA when I was 10. Gus was 7. And then went to middle school and high school out here in Burbank, Cali.
818, say it backwards.
Ow! 818, baby. Went to John Burroughs High School, started playing football there. Always wanted to play football. Mom would never let me. She always thought I'd get hurt, which was true.
Yeah, I'm a delicate dude from the valley. I got that a lot too. But I'm also not like 6'10".
Yeah. Well, I had a few big growth spurts. There was one summer from like, I think it was like from the beginning of 7th grade to the summer before 8th grade, I grew about a foot.
What?
Yeah. 9th grade, I was 6'3", 220.
Just out there, just mobbing the class. Like, what's up? I'm here.
They're like, Eb, you should play O-line. I think you might have a future in that. So I was like, I want to play quarterback.
I could see over everybody.
For 2 weeks, and then I started playing O-line.
You protected him instead.
Yeah, and I loved it. I fell in love with it. It became my dream to play in the NFL. Everything I did was about making it to the NFL. So I was a team captain. I was a team leader. But then I also...
you said some accolades in high school. They even retired your jersey in high school. I never heard about that.
Yeah, my high school retired my jersey.
What?
Yeah, that's a trip, man. That story. We could get into that. It might be for another podcast. But the day they retired my jersey, my appendix exploded and I had to have emergency surgery. Yeah.
That's no joke. I had that happen to me too.
It's brutal, right?
Oof. Yes.
We could talk about that later. But but at the same time, I was always interested in cannabis and weed and in this plant, this mystical plant. I was always curious about the power of it, where it could take me.
How'd you get exposed to it? How'd you discover cannabis?
I don't know exactly.
Because usually athletes aren't they're like, oh, fuck weed. I got to play, I got to practice, I got to stay focused.
Right. But the thing with football players is, because it's so violent and we're beating the shit out of each other so much, I think football players really gravitate towards weed and cannabis.
I've smoked with a lot of athletes. I ain't gonna lie though. I think most athletes.
On the surface, it's really because I was that guy, man. I was like, man, I can never let a coach find out that I smoke weed. I'm terrified of that thought of a coach thinking I'm a stoner or something.
There's such a negative, it's a negative stigma with people who consume cannabis. Is horrible.
Yeah.
And that's why we out here changing that perspective.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's one of the reasons why I started this podcast. We ain't lazy stoners.
Podcast, son.
I like playing video games, but that don't mean I just stay at home playing video games. What does that mean?
Look, dude, we're drinking tea.
Yeah.
We're fucking exercising. We're gonna do a workout together.
That's coming up. We gonna get into that.
Yeah.
We got a little extra fun video.
We're gonna do
go
some
with this
dabs and lift some weights.
Oh, we're gonna do a getting fit rip. It's not getting high with. It's getting fit rip. We're gonna get fit while getting ripped. I found out the puffin curls. Puffin curls all day. Let's go. Anyway, you just don't forget to breathe. That's the main key when working out is breathe. Just when you smoke, just breathe. That's all you gotta do. So,
man, that's good advice.
So when did you discover cannabis? I know
I was 14.
Okay.
First time I tried it.
A girl you liked was like, hey,
it was
have you tried this?
It was not a girl I liked. She was a friend who also played on the football team.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Kara.
Was she like a kicker?
Shout out to Kara. Nah, I think she played like D-end or something.
Yeah, what?
She was
badass. What high school is it? John Burroughs?
John Burroughs.
Shout out to letting the females play on the team.
Yeah, we had 2 girls who were out there playing with us.
She's like, hey, you ever smoked weed before?
Well, I knew that she was into it, and it was after the season, my junior year. My junior year, after the season. She was like, yo, you guys should come over. Oh, no, it was after my senior season.
How high are you right now, Evan?
I don't know. I'm pretty high.
So it was in high school.
So I'm 14.
Okay.
It was after the football season. She's like, hey, you and your friend Juan should come over. My best friend Juan.
Little winky, play with the hair, little elbow, shoulder.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, we're going to do a little smoke out. Okay. I was like, all right, cool. So we head over there and we're ripping the bong, and I'd never really smoked before.
Okay. So your first time was out of a bong?
Yeah.
A plastic bong, glass bong.
Oh no, my first time was was a blunt.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, but this was really the time I got fucking super high.
Okay. The first time you don't really get high, you just do it. But the next time,
it was a ball. We had a ball that time though. But. So we start smoking out of this bong, and we're just like passing this thing, and I'm high as shit. and all of a sudden somebody rolls up a blunt and that gets passed around, and then kind of like the veteran smokers stopped smoking, but me and my buddy Juan just kept passing this blunt back and forth. And all of a sudden I'm just like, oh fuck, where the fuck am I?
Oh, you got too high.
Too high.
Too high.
Way too high.
Look at this big ass dude, just high as fuck.
Yeah, and it was like, it was one of those transformational experiences as a young kid, having a super psychedelic trip, dude. You know, I mean, when you've had so much cannabis in your system that it starts to turn, you start hallucinating, you know?
What? Yeah, I think I've saturated my endocannabinoid receptors too much now to experience that, but I've been there before. And you know, there's been a lot of negative things that happen from smoking too much also. Yeah. But we could get into that later. I want to hear more about this first time experience. So it's getting too high.
Yeah, I start just pounding water. I'm drinking tons of water. Too much water. So then my stomach starts feeling queasy, and I look at my buddy Juan, and he's just chilling, reading through this magazine. And I'm just start panicking, dude. Uh-oh. I'm like,
we paranoid.
I'm like, dude, we got to get out of here. We got to get out of here right now. Because all of a sudden, now I'm thinking to myself, dude, you're the team captain of the football team. You've got a scholarship to Arizona. You've got this and that, and you're this guy.
Started weighing on you.
I was like, oh no. So I was like, Juan, we got to get out of here, man. And so I start gathering our stuff. I turn around and the girl, Kara, is like, wait, Eben, you don't have to go. And it's a dark room, and I see these like blue wings start to sprout out of her back.
You sure you were just smoking weed? You sure that was all that was
I
in
don't
there?
know, bro.
Did you see what they were rolling up?
I did
you
not.
know? You know what they were smoking?
I did not. Thank God. You know what? Juan and I made it home. We walked about 3 miles, got home, turned on cable TV, and watched HGTV till the come down.
And ate a bunch of munchies.
Yeah, and had whatever was in the fridge.
Do you have a go-to munchies? Because I know you are real particular with your diet.
Yeah, I'm super disciplined with the diet, but
do you have like a go-to, like when I'm high, this is what I want to eat? Like my go-to is a Kit Kat.
A what?
A Kit Kat. I take a Kit Kat and a Twinkie, and I take the Kit Kat and I shove it inside the Twinkie. And I create a Kit Kat, so you get that soft, fluffy, crunchy, wafer, chocolatey taste. Kit Kat.
That sounds pretty good.
You heard it here.
That sounds pretty good.
The go-tos.
I wouldn't do that. I would do, you know what I love are these bulletproof protein bars, collagen protein bars.
Collagen?
Yeah, collagen protein bars. I know it sounds nuts, man, but they are tasty as
Okay.
I'm dead serious.
Hey, I'm open to everything. I eat. Look, I got a monthly subscription to Munchies from around the world.
Ooh.
Where they just send me snacks from all over the world.
Munch pack.
What? So like sometimes when I don't know what I want to eat, I just open up my Munch pack and I eat what I want.
God, okay. I mean, I eat nuts. I like chips and salsa.
I learned something interesting with you the other day. You were saying something about edamame and soy.
Yeah.
You said how dudes shouldn't eat
edamame. Men really shouldn't eat soy.
I love soy sauce with my sushi, G.
I know.
I put like wasabi
love it too,
and mix
man.
that
Trust
up.
me. I mean, I just try to stay away from the edamame. There's a lot of research that says there are pro-estrogen hormones in soy that block our testosterone production. And in this world that we're living in, where I feel like, fucking real men are very few and far between, who, we're losing a lot of our masculinity. And I think that any way that we can hold on to as much testosterone as possible, I think we should do that.
It's 2018, man. There's all gender restrooms now, and
I'm down with that.
All gender
I'm down with that.
Like, there's no men and women's sections in stores anymore. It's just come in, if you like it, put it on.
No doubt, and I'm all good with that,
Eat
bro.
more edamame.
I'm all good with that. And isn't that the beauty of weed too? I mean, it really leads you. You can't smoke weed and be a super closed-minded person.
No.
It just opens you up.
Yeah.
To life.
Yeah, you like experimenting too with other natural remedies to cure you or open you up. Cause
me?
Yeah, I heard you talking about something about frog. What was it? It was
Well, most recently was this experience because right now I'm also co-hosting a podcast with Mike Tyson.
What?
Called Hot Boxing.
That's right. You got the Tyson Ranch thing going.
Yeah. I'm partner over at Tyson Ranch, and if you go to Mike Tyson's YouTube channel, you can check out this podcast we've started called Hot Boxing. And recently, we had the world leading expert on 5-MeO DMT.
What? You lost me.
So, have you heard of ayahuasca?
Yeah, that's that's the flower, right?
Yeah, so ayahuasca is this sacred medicine that comes from the Amazon. Peru, Brazil, Peruvian and Brazilian tribes, indigenous tribes have used this medicine for, thousands of years to basically be it's the spiritual center of the tribe. It gives them the answers to finding medicine in the forest. It helps them understand their spiritual path and your purpose in life.
Answers all their questions.
Yeah, in modern day medicine, we've found that it cures depression, addiction, has cured people of cancer, has
ayahuasca has?
Ayahuasca.
What? Because when I think of ayahuasca, it's like if you want to go, if you want to, go find some answers to your life.
Well, that's what the Vision Quest is, and that's why
think outside your everyday mind, because usually everyone's just closed-minded and they see what they see. And then, like with mushrooms or LSD or ayahuasca or DMT, it just gives you answers because you look at things at a different perspective.
Yeah, I think that, for me, I did ayahuasca, which DMT is the active ingredient in. And, what it does is it shows you your life in a certain way. And it'll give you what you need. They say that, this is very intelligent medicine. Just like cannabis and cannabinoids. We have receptors in our body that are meant to take this stuff in.
It's like preventative health.
It's totally preventative medicine.
Yeah, it's like taking vitamins.
Exactly. It fortifies our system. It helps us produce hormones properly, keeps us in homeostasis.
Not like estrogen and soy.
No, I mean, look, man. Hey, that's just my choice. That's my personal choice.
No, you're always,
and God knows
you're
if that's
always
even
knowledgeable
right.
with these these diet, these things you should be eating. And then also, I remember one time you told me you were doing, what was the thing with the frog in the
combo,
the shot in the arm?
Combo.
What was that?
So combo is the warrior's cleanse. That is
a warrior.
That's this.
I don't know if I'm ready for that. I'm like a delicate dude from the valley who gets high and chill. Like, I got the warrior cleanse, bro. Let's go.
So that's all about. It's the green monkey frog from the Amazon.
You like the Amazon?
So it raises your vibration on a molecular level, on a cellular level. It clears out energy blocks. It aligns you with your purpose and clears your emotional cloudiness.
It gets you right.
It gets you fucking clear, crystal clear, man.
I don't know if I'm ready for that.
And the way they administer that is they burn these holes in your arm, and then they spackle the venom in there.
Get in the system.
And you have like a 15-minute flu. That's the worst flu you've ever had in your life. You're throwing up.
Wait, so you're taking this medicine to get sick?
Yeah, but to get you know, to cleanse yourself.
Okay.
It's like a soul
detox.
cleanse.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, it's definitely a detox.
Well, I like to soul cleanse on 420 like it is right now and just take extra puffs and get high. So if you're listening right now, I hope you are getting higher.
Yeah,
Unless
no
you're
doubt.
driving. Don't smoke if you're high. Wink,
Don't
wink.
smoke if you're high.
Or don't drive if you're high. Relax, Evan. I'm high as fuck right now. I'm higher than you.
I know.
It's 420. Yeah, get high. Whatever you're smoking, blunts, pipes, bongs, dabs,
Light that thing
apples,
up, Gus.
cans.
Let me take a shot
I
of
got
that.
more too. If you want to roll one up, I got the auto if you need to fill up a joint. I got my peak if you need to take some dabs. I got some fresh strains for you if you want. Let me know. I still got the munchie pack. We out here. So let's go back real quick. I know we kind of went off for a second. So you're in high school.
So long story short, I'm a big fan of the plant medicine.
Yes, natural remedies.
Natural remedies.
Natural
yes.
remedies. Give me a flower on a plant and I'll see if I could extract something
But
from
you know,
it.
cannabis is really the beginning of that, you know? And so, how did I even get here?
Yeah, that's why I'm going back to 9th grade when you tripped out and ran out of a house party because you thought you smoked weed.
So what that experience did though, is that it gave me a great respect for this plant.
Yes.
You know, it was like, this isn't something to just fuck around with. This isn't this like, you know, party drug that you just do, you know, for the fuck of it. Like, this thing has a purpose. And so I sort of stayed away from it for a little while. I was just a little hesitant to dive back into that. And it wasn't until playing football in college where towards the end of the year, the offensive line, we'd get the word that there were going to be no more drug tests for the rest of the season, which was always good, you know, and the O-line would get together. We'd have a big ass fucking bonfire in somebody's backyard, and somebody would roll up some joints, and we just pass these things, man. And I remember bonding over it, you know, feeling that pain relief, that decompression, that stress relief, and then really waking up the next day
fine,
feeling so good, feeling like I could go play a game.
Hangover life.
No hangover, you know? And I was like, man, you know, for something that is so demonized, that I think is such a bad, like, street drug thing, that I've been convinced that this is like, you know, the devil's herb.
All the propaganda.
It's like, man, I feel so good when I wake up after a night of that, you know? Spiritually, just uplifted, man. And so that was kind of how it went in college. And then in the NFL, I got drafted by the Jaguars in 2009, 39th overall, second round.
So all this paranoia of you getting high, being the captain of the team, and no one tripped out and no one found out that you smoked weed?
Nobody found out.
Did you start growing long hair or anything? Or?
Oh, yeah. Hair was always flowing.
Okay.
Beard was flowing.
So you out here getting all these accolades, getting All-American,
All-American shit.
Top 10 national player.
My last year playing at Arizona, though, I smoked a lot of weed. And that was probably my best year.
A lot of Cali weed, too. Wait, so you said you... hold on, run it back. Say that one more time. The last year you smoked the most weed and you were
my last year at Arizona when I was just balling out playing left tackle, I probably smoked the most weed of my college career that year, because I was really
in tune with what's going on.
Yeah, I was in tune with what was happening, and I was really like, this is the thing that makes me feel better, you know.
Was it shady getting weed back then? Did you have to like meet someone in a parking lot, or was it like
shady?
Meet me at the frat house?
Yeah, go to some frat house and
get whatever you get.
Looks like shit inside.
It's that Arizona special.
Everything's dirty.
Yeah,
like, you don't want to sit down.
You didn't get the Cali Paxia. It was just desert finest.
No,
this is sun cured.
I think all the weed in Tucson at the U of A was probably Cali weed.
Yeah, it was our weed we didn't want.
Yeah, for sure.
Shout
what
out to
are you
Arizona.
gonna do, dude?
No, you smoke what you get.
That's what you're gonna do.
So here you are, you're chilling, getting high as fuck, get drafted into the professional NFL. One of the things you envisioned as a kid growing up, bam, you accomplished it.
Yeah.
But you have a passion for cannabis all while doing it.
Yeah, I still do, and it's growing.
Now, as a professional athlete, are you consuming cannabis?
So in the NFL, it really becomes much simpler, you know, to consume cannabis.
Wait, okay.
Don't you feel funny saying cannabis?
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing to call it? Weed,
cannabis, pot. No, just weed, cannabis,
Yeah.
weed.
cannabis.
Those two. It depends who I'm talking to.
Cannabis always feels a little proper. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Well,
man, I know it deserves to be treated in such a way that,
You want to get high? That's what I call it.
yeah, well,
Hey, the get high.
fucking A.
You want the get high?
Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that, but
It,
so to consume cannabis in the NFL is much easier because you only get tested for weed once a year.
Okay.
So you get tested at random as many times as they want throughout the year for performance enhancing drugs. But for street drugs, which is what they classify cannabis under, you only get tested once a year. And that test is either about the first week from when you report to your team in April to about the first week of camp. So you have like
so you got the
a
timeline
3 to
down.
4 month window of when you can consume cannabis or when you have to stop.
And when did you learn this?
Right away.
They
Learn
told you,
that.
the veterans.
Yeah, the veterans who smokes told me.
They came in and they're like, yo, just so you know.
Yeah. Hey, man, after that test, I'm going to smoke,
And they had did they have little bonfires at their houses too in the NFL?
It was a little more discreet. It was a little bit.
Okay.
You
don't want to get fined or kicked off the team.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little more low key in the NFL. You kind of, the guys who all used it, you kind of knew who everybody was. And so we all found each other.
And you were in Jacksonville for the first
Jacksonville,
4
Florida.
years. So how was the weed in Florida?
Expensive.
Were you getting it in Florida, or when you were playing in other cities, did you have like plugs like, oh, I'm going to LA today, let's go?
No, I just get it in Florida.
Okay.
Yeah, from a guy, one of my teammates, that's the guy he got it from, and it was
His
just like,
plug. So they were taxing you.
it was so much.
Like, oh, he's a professional athlete. He got that money.
Oh, it was absurd, dude.
People suck.
I don't even want to say how much I
suck.
spent.
Were you buying ounces?
Yeah,
$500, $700.
600.
That's all right. That's like a five. That's like back then. It was probably like, was it good at least?
It might be.
Well, now you probably
It was all I could get.
Yeah.
So I wasn't complaining about
So you're
it.
doing 4 years in Jacksonville, killing it.
A lot of injuries actually along the way.
Did you take any of the pill or the medicine?
Oh yeah, I
the
took
doctors
a lot of pills.
We're trying to give you.
Because at the time,
Because they just give you pills to mask it, not really
and
cure
you're
it.
in so much pain.
Yeah.
They give you tons of anti-inflammatories like Cataflam, Celebrex, Indocin. These things are just wreak havoc on your digestive system.
Okay.
And your liver and kidneys. And I was taking that.
Is it like constipation digestion or like shits?
No, the shits,
Ugh.
tearing your stomach up.
Ugh.
It kills your liver and kidneys.
Ugh.
Just destroys them.
Pills are crazy.
And then you get opiates. I had some surgeries where I got prescribed those pills, and man, I remember so vividly the experience of taking these pills, and all of a sudden I'm just so fucking irritable and just ready to snap.
Rage.
And it's like, where did this come from? What the fuck happened?
Oh, you didn't read the side effects on the pills? May cause anger,
dude.
suicidal
It's real.
thoughts.
Yeah. They didn't help me sleep. They had
They
me
give you a pill to make you sleep.
waking up in the middle of the night, cold sweats, chills, that knifing sensation in my gut. That's withdrawal. And then I was like, you know what, man, I'm just going to smoke weed. Fuck this shit. So I stopped. The last time I took painkillers was this night after I had back surgery. And I took these painkillers and they just fucked me up. I woke up with a migraine the next day. And I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. And I just threw them out. And pills really, I think my last 2 years in the league, my main source of pain management was smoking weed, consuming cannabis, smoking cannabis, maybe an Advil here and there, but
you wouldn't do any of the like hard prescribed.
I wasn't doing any more pills.
What?
I just knew what they did to me. They made me feel like shit.
And do you feel like because you cut out all those pills, because I've seen professional athletes after, any sport, especially like high impact sports, they're aching. They're like at 40, they're already like walking around like with canes and wheelchairs and shit just because all the pain that they've been going through.
In really bad shape, man. Guys are in really bad shape. You're out here
still killing it. You think it's good? It's because you took out all those pills and just consumed cannabis?
No doubt that consuming cannabis through my football career.
Yeah, give it up for cannabis.
No doubt that consuming cannabis through my football career left me in better shape afterwards than if I hadn't.
That's crazy. Because I read that you were suspended for 4 games for for a policy violation?
For Adderall.
What?
Yeah.
Positive for Ritalin, or Adderall.
Yeah. Well, I was prescribed Adderall, and I took a Ritalin from a teammate because I didn't have any Adderall.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, they're the same thing. They treat ADD. I have a TUE for that.
Okay.
A therapeutic use exemption to use Adderall to treat my doctor-diagnosed ADHD. And I was out of my Adderall.
So they let you take pills as an athlete, but they don't let you smoke weed or anything.
You take pills.
That's
do
crazy.
Coke.
Damn.
Fuck it.
Whatever.
Whatever.
But you take the wrong pill.
Yeah, you take the wrong pill. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I didn't have my Adderall this one day, and I knew one of my other teammates, he was prescribed. I knew he was prescribed something for his ADHD. He says, I'm prescribed Ritalin. I said, oh, well, I mean, I'll take one of those. That's the same thing, right? It does the same shit.
Right.
It's prescribed for the same
symptoms,
thing. I don't think it should be an issue. Of course, that day I get popped for a drug test.
Oh,
right, like
he set you up, G. The teammate set you up.
20 minutes after popping this thing, and he's a good kid. I mean, he's a rookie. He was a rookie.
He set you up. They hazed him. They go, hey, you want to be on a team, G?
No, dude.
See if he'll take your pill.
There wasn't much of that.
He smokes weed.
I've heard some horrible stories about hazing. I don't want to get into that yet, though.
No, I want to, because this is inspiring now. We're getting into cannabis.
Yeah, I get drug tested.
They suspend you for a pill.
And then I get a letter after the season that says, Mr. Britton, we regret to inform you that you failed the drug test for Ritalin. We're going to give you a 4-game suspension. I was like, fuck you guys.
Lame.
And so they call me up. They're like, is anything you can remember about what happened? I'm like, yeah, I took a Ritalin because I thought it was prescribed for ADHD too. And
I forgot my pills.
I didn't have my pills. And they denied it, man. They fucking, Boo. I got the 4-game suspension. But I was really done. I was done, man.
Yeah, 6 years.
6
NFL.
years. That last year in Chicago was kind of brutal. My appendix exploded during the bye week. I was stuck in LA because I flew here with my family for the bye week because my high school was retiring my jersey.
Yeah.
That night, on the night of the ceremony, and there was a game. It was Halloween night, and I have this pain in my side, like nothing I've ever felt. I'm throwing up. I feel horrible. And I had no clue it could possibly be an appendix. And then 2 days later, the day we're supposed to leave to go back to Chicago, I'm still in so much pain. I'm like, I got to go to the hospital before I go get on a plane.
Yeah, check this shit out.
I go to the hospital and they're like, yeah, dude, you have a ruptured appendix.
It ruptured already?
It was like perforated.
Okay, so it didn't explode. It was
leaking shit.
Ooh.
And so it was brutal, man. I
remember when I had it, felt like I was like giving birth to a baby. I was like, I was really young and I didn't know what the fuck the pain was. And my mom thought,
so awful.
It's crazy. That shit is horrible.
It was so horrible, man. So
you missed the flight?
Missed the flight. Ended up staying a week more in LA. Lost like 40 pounds.
Loved LA. Even though you were sick.
I loved LA.
You're like, I want to come back home.
Yeah. Flew back to Chicago, kind of missed the rest of the season because I was so fucked up. And I was just like, I'm done with this shit, man. back injury, shoulder injury, ankle injury.
It's a very violent sport.
Yeah, I mean, surgeries. It's just like concussions.
Ugh.
You know, it's like, and I had just gotten to a point where I was sitting in the meeting room, and I had this thought in Chicago one day. I was like, what the fuck am I doing here now? You know, what am I doing in this place? You know, this coach back here, he doesn't give a fuck. You know, why am I putting myself through so much shit? I'm beating the shit out of myself. I feel like shit. My body hurts all over. Nobody gives a fuck. And I don't want to kill this guy in front of me anymore. You know, that was a big part of how I got there. I went out there ready to fucking fuck people
rage.
Up.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's how I made it to the NFL.
I'm gonna fuck you up, G. What? But then you're getting high and you're like, yo, man, I need to chill out.
Well, I think, you know, cannabis is one of those things that it'll point that out to you. You know, if you're not in the right place, it will get you back on your spiritual path. I've always believed that. So,
and now you're a part of some cannabis advocacy programs. I mean, you got the Athletes for Care.
Can I pop this?
Yeah, take it off. You're good. Yeah, that's what I was.
I could just chill.
I'm feeling that. I was feeling
just
that.
Chill, y'all.
I'm feeling that.
You do
Athletes for Care.
Yep.
You got that.
Yep.
You talked about the Tyson Ranch. You're a part of that. You talked a little bit about Rachel, but what's this Athletes for Care? Because I've been to a couple of these parties that they had, and I've seen you walk around, and there's all these athletes there. Is people promoting cannabis now? Is it getting accepted now in the
leagues,
in professional sports? I know there's a lot of studies.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff happening, man. I mean, we put this together. Athletes for Care came together because I met this guy, Kyle Turley. Or I knew of Kyle. Kyle was a sort of a childhood hero of mine. He was another offensive lineman in the NFL. Played for the Saints, the Chiefs, and the Rams. Left tackle, and he was always a huge cannabis advocate. And I knew that. Had never met him, but after I retired from the NFL, I wrote a few articles about my experience, kind of detailing injuries and pills, and
because you did major in
creative writing.
That's
right.
I saw you're a little poet, and you got a little. What were you always writing? Like, what kind of student were you in school? What like in elementary school, middle school? Were you
high school? I was like elementary. I was a terror.
Okay. ADD,
nightmare.
just running around.
Yeah. In middle school, I was really depressed because we had just moved from Brooklyn to LA. And I was away from my whole family. So I was like not in a good, it was a dark time. Oh, yeah. But then high school, football came around. I had like a 3.7 GPA.
It's a good student.
Good student, you know, get it done. I mean, I wasn't particularly, I didn't particularly love school, but you know, I wasn't, you know, I worked hard.
Were you always writing? Were you like ready for essays in English class? Like, yes, let's go.
Just loved
book report.
Telling stories. Oh. I've always loved telling stories. I've always loved writing. I felt somehow, you know, writing became a great outlet for me, you know, to work the other side of my brain, I guess, from the football side, you know. And I always had that, you know, as this thing that I wouldn't allow myself to just fully identify as a football player. You know, I never wanted to be thought of as a football player as a guy, you know, one of these big, like, I hate that, you know. I was like, no, I'm a writer, you know, I'm an artist. I'm this before I'm that.
Right. I got the degree, G.
Yeah. And so I found out that you can major in creative writing. In Arizona, I actually picked Arizona because they were the one school to offer me a scholarship that had creative writing as a major.
Oh.
And it was one of the best programs in the country.
So you want to write like books or movies or screenplays or
I think
TV shows?
I think I've got some
poems.
Books. I'm going to write some books. Gus is really, I mean, Gus has written some incredible screenplays. that we're working on producing. It's another company we're working on.
Well,
Sandy Monster.
if you guys need anybody in any roles, you know.
Oh, no doubt, dude. You're there, B. You're there, G.
So,
but what was I talking about?
We're talking about you writing,
writing. It was always a passion. It was always the thing. It was always my outlet for football. And throughout my career, I had like a stack of journals, just about everything. Writing everything from poems to thoughts on the day to, you know, something that happened in a meeting or whatever it might have been. I just write throughout my football career. And so when I got out, I had this stack of journals. And my wife is like, now it's time for you to write this book.
Hey.
I was like, man, that's awesome. So I got an agent through my football agent. They hooked me up with a book agent. I put together about a 60-page book proposal. You know, that really turned into this article I wrote about for SI.com.
Sports Illustrated.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have an editorial column called The Cauldron. That's a sort of by the players, for the players writing pieces. And I wrote this piece for them. It got really, it reached a lot of people. I got a lot of feedback on it. It was pretty big, well received. And it detailed, you know, my experience with pills and injuries and sort of training protocol, etc. And I talk a little bit about weed. And the next thing I know, you know, I'm hearing something about Kyle, who's this huge cannabis advocate, who's kind of a legend in my eyes, you know, one of my childhood heroes. And he says, Eb, I'm having this cannabis conference in Phoenix. I'd like you to come and speak on this panel with me and tell your story. And I was like, man, all right, I'd love to, you know, I'd love to do that. I didn't know what it meant. You know, what is it? I have no idea what I'm even going to say. What that, you know, I think cannabis helped, you know, me deal with injuries during my football career.
You didn't know which direction you're going to take it.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. And so I go there, you know, I just tell my story, and I realize at that first conference, how powerful, you know, this whole movement is, and how, you know, if I can make some sort of positive impact telling my story from having this platform of having played in the NFL, you know, that cannabis was really a positive force in my life. And I'm looking around and it can help military veterans and cancer survivors and traumatic brain injury, people who've been in car accidents, and children with epilepsy. And I'm just like, fuck, man, this is amazing. This is so fueled with passion and love, and everyone in it has their own story. You know, it's changed a lot since that first conference, like 3 or 4 years ago.
Cannabis has become so socially accepted now, and that's why there's like pros and cons with it being legal, but we get into that. It's just now everyone's just aware of what they're actually smoking, and they're more aware of like PGRs and PM and mold and pesticides and all sorts of other things
PGRs,
that no one should be smoking.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you like steroids, then smoke weed with PGRs.
Yeah, right.
We out here. Do you have a favorite strain? What is your favorite strain?
Jack Herrera.
Well, sativas?
Well, yeah.
He's right behind you. He's looking over you.
I know, dude. I know. I love those things.
A lot of people don't know who Jack Herrera is. They think he's just a strain. They don't know he's
he's a cannabis legend.
The man who
he's a demigod.
Yeah, he kind of inspired me to do what I do, just as far as just like getting out there, just letting people know. You got a Jack Herrera
thing, bro.
Yeah, I met him a couple times. I was fortunate enough to meet him a couple times, and he just, you know, it was great. Just dropped knowledge and just really like connected with you.
That's awesome.
And told you what's up. And he's the one that told me I should be microdosing all the time on mushrooms.
Really?
And yeah, way back when I was bud tending many years ago, when he was doing like walking around dispensaries. But yeah, he's a great man, and he wrote Emperor Wears No Clothes. And
yes.
He talks about the many benefits of cannabis, not only cannabis and hemp and everything it can do, and what it did for us before all this, what's it called?
Propaganda.
Prohibition of cannabis. Yeah, when it became legal but illegal.
Marijuana Tax Act of 1937 really started the fuck
everybody up.
Yeah.
You got Hertz and Anslinger just Be like, yo, let's fuck up everybody
Yeah.
and let's make money for ourselves.
Those fucks.
But so here you are writing.
We digress.
Yeah,
So
I don't
here
want to
I
get
am.
into that. I don't want to get into that. I want to get into the M
Yeah,
story.
man.
And
So
so you like Jack Herrera?
I love Jack Herrera.
And what do you do? Joints, bongs, pipes, blunts,
I like
apples.
I like J's. I like the raw cones.
What?
You turn me on to these backwoods, except I guess they're not good for you. So
No, they're I just prefer them. Have you seen this thing where it fills your joints for you?
yeah, I haven't seen it in action.
What?
but-
I hope my battery works with the Banana Bros here. Let me feel like I got some. It's not really Jack, but it's kind of like lemonish
Okay.
and piney. Here, is that okay? We'll let you try it. It's not Jack, but I want to get high with you. So you like
That's nice.
You like joints?
I like J's. I really like these palm leaves. Have you tried those?
Yeah, I'm not the. I've tried every wrap
yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
Pine.
The shine?
The palm leaves, the gold leaves.
Yeah.
I've tried banana leaves, corn. They have now. Have you seen the tea leaf wrap?
No.
They have tea wraps. Futurola just wrap. It's like compressed tea leaves.
Really?
Yeah, I got some. If you want
Nice.
to try, yeah. I still got to smoke a couple more. It just adds like it's like fake tobacco. It's weird. It's like vegan tobacco.
Weird.
It's like you got a sweet taste to it, but it's tea leaves.
All right. Well,
It's crazy. So you like Jack and joints?
I like Jack and joints. Smoking's my favorite way to take it in.
Yeah, edibles.
Edibles, it's just I can, it's always that could be a dragon that you don't want to ride with,
If you could smoke with anybody, dead or alive, who would you want to smoke with?
I think Bob, man.
What? He's in my top 3.
Then maybe Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, he's right above me.
You're
Of course, I knew it. I'm
in my
stoned.
top 5.
Well, we've gotten high. Stop it. Battery's dead. I'm a
All
genius.
right, that's
We're
fine.
good.
It's all good.
I got you.
Yeah,
Next
we're
time.
chilling, bro.
Yeah, I don't want to get high with Jesus.
Oh,
That's my
fuck yeah,
that's my
bro.
number one dead or alive is Jesus.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
He'd be dope.
Tell me some stories.
Yeah.
Well, he had 12 people follow him. One of them was all about herbs and spices. Mr. Nicodemus, he's out here got his own person with weed. He got his own weed man.
Oh, hell yeah,
Talk
bro.
to Jesus for a second. Or Sacha Baron Cohen.
You'd like to smoke with him?
Well, I just want to see what it would be like getting high with that guy with all the characters he could think of. And how he just thinks and uses his mind. He's crazy.
You'd
Have
be
you seen his
fun.
new show?
I haven't.
It's so cringeworthy. It's like I get secondhand embarrassment. Have you seen it? Who is America? If you like
He
secondhand,
does it. He like convinces somebody he's.
he has different characters,
Yeah,
and he
yeah, yeah.
and just makes people just look ridiculous, and
Yeah,
it's very
it's
hard
so
to watch.
bad.
It's very hard to watch. So, so after football, you're writing and you're getting into cannabis advocacy. I've seen you nominated for all these awards. You've been speaking everywhere, and
Yeah.
you're a part of Athletes for Care. You also got your podcast.
Oh yeah, so Athletes for Care. Holy shit, man.
Yeah.
Start speaking on these conferences, meet a bunch of athletes who all share this story of how cannabis either helped us during our sports careers or in the transition out of it, or in life after sports. And got to give a shout out to this guy Ryan Kingsbury, who is, I think he was a rock music manager for a long time. He actually ran PR and marketing for Charlotte's Web when they were really starting to blow up with
CBD life.
yeah, and he really introduced this idea of using athletes to market CBD cannabis products, at least for them, which might have been the first time ever because they had Jake Plummer, the former quarterback for the Broncos and Cardinals, using their CBD oil. And then they got hooked up with Realm of Caring, which does the work with the little kids who have
Yeah.
Dravet syndrome. So they do a lot of good work.
The network just starts expanding.
Yeah, so Ryan, is really the brainchild. I've got to give him credit for thinking, we need to bring this group of people together, these pro athletes who are cannabis advocates, bring them together and really, sort of galvanize this piece of the movement, this athlete's voice in this whole thing. And so we created Athletes for Care. And it stands for Community Advocacy, Research, and Education. Right now we are raising money to fund research initiatives to study cannabis and its effect on CTE or brain trauma, as well as cannabis versus opiates.
You said a crazy stat about that. I saw you speaking somewhere where you said that what was 98% or something like that of
NFL players.
And it was it NFL players?
Brains tested post-mortem suffered from CTE.
Which means critical...
chronic traumatic encephalopathy.
Hold
encephalopathy.
on. Chronic... Say it again.
Chronic traumatic encephalopathy.
Encephalopathy. Chronic traumatic encephalopathy.
Yeah, dude, it's fucked up, man. So that's like dementia, that's Alzheimer's, it's a neurodegenerative disease, and
Jeez.
It's really wreaking havoc on former NFL players in particular. And I think that, cannabis can be a real solution to that. In more ways than one, in more ways that are physically quantifiable. We understand through the federal government's patent, 6,630,507.
What?
Cannabinoids as neuroprotectants and antioxidants. That means through research, they've seen that this plant, the molecules in this plant, can actually help prevent trauma in the brain and can help the brain heal from damage.
Just spreading awareness and knowledge.
I mean, shit, man.
How your parents feel about? Do they know that you consume cannabis? Were they always? When did they find out you got high?
They always knew. My parents are very
your father,
homeopathically.
I read your father was a basketball player, NCAA.
Yep, D1 basketball player at Jacksonville University in Jacksonville, Florida.
Hey, did that make you want to play in Jacksonville, or were you just got?
No, I mean I just got drafted.
All right, that's cool.
That was cosmic.
What? Do your parents ask you for weed? Do they get high?
My dad does. He's got his own hookup, but my mom is actually sober, but I have gotten her to use, some CBD products, some tinctures.
They're getting more aware of it now.
Well, my mom's had, she's a lifetime athlete. Really, I mean, one of the big reasons I made it to the NFL were my parents. Just in everything, the way they supported me, mom taking me to yoga classes,
hey.
Dad, always preaching proper nutrition and way to eat. And my dad's about 60, he's in incredible shape, does 100+ push-ups a day, runs however many miles, smokes weed, drinks red wine. He's an artist in Brooklyn.
Do you work out? You work out daily?
I work out. I try to do something every day.
What's like a basic stoner workout you should give someone? Because I tell people all the time they should at least get active. I know they like to sit around. We got the stereotype, but I want them at least do something.
Let me tell you, dude. Walk around your neighborhood.
Just walk.
Take a walk.
Take a walk.
That is bread and butter, man.
And then do 10 push-ups.
And then grow that. If you did 100 push-ups and walked 3 miles a day, you'd be in incredible shape.
You got an app on your phone that tracks your steps too, so it's easy.
Do it. I look at that all the time, man.
What?
I look at it all the time.
Are we gonna go work out?
Yeah, we're gonna go.
I want to try a professional athlete's workout.
We're gonna do it.
Are you on social media? What's your social media?
I'm on social media, Instagram at EDS Britton, BRITTON. Yep, Eds Britton. That's my 3 initials.
If you just type in Eben Britton, your name will show up.
Yes, I will.
Caveman Poet Society.
Where can people listen to it? You can find that on iTunes. You can also go to our website, www.cavemanpoetsociety.com. You can also find that on Purple Haze Radio.
Yeah, right here.
Right here.
Yeah.
Right here. We're on.
What? I feel like I could talk to you forever.
I know, dude.
About a
I'll
bunch of
come
shit.
back. I'll come back.
There's so much shit we could talk about.
Yeah. Athletes for
What?
Care, athletesforcare.org if you're interested in getting involved.
Yeah, let them know. What do you need to let them know? Let them know.
And then, hey, brother, our company together, the Green Shield.
Hey.
Adam and I are partners at the Green Shield. It's a cannabis insurance company. It'll cover all your insurance needs, everything from general liability and product liability, auto,
Yeah.
umbrella, workers' comp, all risk, property, crime,
Your grows, your deliveries, your
inland,
shops.
marine, miscellaneous, and manuscript, professional liability. The list goes on. If you need any insurance, that's the place to go. Head to thegreenshield.com.
I learned a lot. You told me a lot. And I feel like I learned so much more. I just want to
Dude.
it's the first podcast. I feel great with you coming back. We didn't even get into the munchies. You want to open some of these? You want to try any of these?
Let me see what's in here.
I mean, you've done everything.
Munch
You've
Pack.
been a writer. You've been published in Sports Illustrated and Playboy. You've been a professional athlete. You've won all
Look at
fucking
this.
state. Look at that. You
I
got,
don't want
eat
any
whatever
of
you
this,
want.
bro.
It's all good for you.
This is
It's
not.
all good for you. Is there anything else you're trying to do? What else? What is EBEN trying to accomplish next? I know you set goals.
Man, I just want to
You don't
spread
want
as
bacon
much
bits?
love and positive energy as I possibly can, dude.
Love and positive energy.
That's it.
That's great. I want to end on the love and positivity.
That's it, man.
Thank you, Evan, for coming through. First podcast. I want to give a shout out to all the growers out there,
Thank
too.
you, bro.
Without
Yeah, no
y'all,
doubt.
none of us would be getting high. I don't care if it's 1 plant or 1,000 plants or 1,000 acres. I appreciate all you guys who grow weed for us.
No doubt.
'Cause I like to get high, so I appreciate all you guys. Thank you again. We
Thank
gotta
you,
come
brother.
back.
Oh,
We're
definitely.
gonna get our workout on, too. I got to
Yeah.
come by and hit that gym.
Yeah,
Fucking
definitely.
get some shit. See if I'm conditioned enough to keep up.
Hell yeah, bro.
Appreciate all y'all. Follow me on the social medias at Get High Everywhere, gettinghigherwith.com. You already know the holidays are coming up. Appreciate all y'all for tuning in. See y'all next week. Yeah. Bye. Thank you, Purple Haze. Bye.
That was super fun, dude.
What am I looking at? Which one am I looking at? Jeez. You like cookies? I like everything. I like those. What's your cookie?
Yeah, I got all.
Thanks for that. You got your eight stuff?
I got those stuff. Yeah, I got it.
All right, thank you guys.
We're good.